Democracy is not a 100-meter dash. Inec reacts to EU mission report on 2023 polls. The Independent National Electoral Commission says Nigeria is on course to achieving optimal democracy. Festus Okoye, Inec National Commissioner for Information and Voter Education, spoke on Tuesday in response to the European Union Election Observation Mission's final report on the recently concluded general election. Barry Andrews, the chief observer, said the elections exposed enduring systemic weaknesses that need to be corrected. Andrews faulted Inec for the operational challenges and glitches experienced with the bimodal voters accreditation system and the results viewing portal, saying the discrepancy severely damaged public confidence in the electoral body. Well, surprise, surprise. Public confidence in INEC was so severely damaged on 25th of February due to its operational failures and lack of transparency. While some corrective measures introduced before the 18th March elections seemed to have a positive impact, overall trust was not restored and eventually led to civil society to call for an independent audit of the entire process. How do you call for an independent audit by the body that is not trusted itself? Don't you find that interesting? Because it was INEC that actually called on the EU to then take this audit. While reacting to the report, Okoye said it is unfair to judge the Commission and the entirety of the polls off a few glitches. He noted that in the other reports submitted, domestic and international observers attested to the fact that in terms of voters' accreditation, the beavers performed optimally. What is that supposed to mean if there were glitches, operational failures, and so what is optimal? Is optimal mediocre, not good enough? There's some things in there, but it was okay anyways. That is not how it's meant to be if you want your people to trust you and trust that we have free and fair elections. Especially when obviously in the tribunal, the Labour Party has asked INEC for about 7-8 documents, and INEC was only able to provide 2. So the Labour Party actually, collaborated or got an IT analyst involved, and in assessing their records, the IT analyst found that what was uploaded in from some election polls by INEC through the beavers were just pictures of random books. So yes, by due process, they have uploaded the papers and the result, but what does the result mean? What does it entail? What does it contain? How can we address and conclude from the results? Nothing, because they uploaded a book. But if we hadn't found this out, we would just think that, they're unable to give us this, and it's like, come on. It's very shameful, because I think that the disrespect it goes beyond just doing things that do not work in favor of the people. But when you give no care, remorse, or accountability, or even if you're going to lie, put in the efforts to lie, or if you're going to to lack transparency and lack character and integrity, you might as well just tie up or make your story look straight. But it's the recklessness, mediocrity, as in, if we find out, Nigerians have found out, what would they do? Exactly nothing, because lack of accountability and impunity runs so deep that they're never held accountable. So whatever happens, no one's getting in trouble. Who cares? That is the problem. That is a problem. And if it continues, then what's the point? Why should Nigerians even vote? Just boycott everything, in my opinion. The National Commissioner, however, noted that certain factors contributed to issues encountered in the conduct of elections. You also have to look at the context of elections to understand these challenges, he says. Insecurity is so in so many parts of the country, nobody can dispute that, he said. There were also issues targeted at some of our staff and other Nigerians. Fuel scarcity, it all just shows the country was unprepared for the elections. What's this nonsense? So why should we then, because whether elections existed or not, insecurity had been a problem, fuel scarcity has been a problem. These are problems that existed before the elections. So because you didn't fix it, because you have accepted it as a circumstance in Nigeria, you would accept it and then try to do your elections, try to go with your calendar and what you're meant to do, and you find that there are glitches. So the fact is you failed in fixing these problems anyways, and you did not prepare enough to conduct elections. You did not even allow for the country to be stable. That's what I'm saying. When the foundations are set, why do we have to talk about insecurity with elections? Insecurity is an already existing problem, and that has led for the elections to be hard to manage and control because you're scared of insecurity. But that aside, I mean, in a lot of other parts of Nigeria where insecurity is not as much as, the north, which is where insecurity is ravaging a lot, there were still discrepancies, there were still errors, there were still wrongs and misalignments which did not make sense. So it still does not make sense. I don't see what they're talking about here. I don't see what the excuse is. There's really no excuse. And I don't know why the EU is collaborate with such a country and collaborate with the Inec, knowing that Inec is not respected, lacks integrity, and for the EU to then say that the beavers, worked optimally and they performed optimally. What is that supposed to mean? There were operational issues and discrepancies, and then what does the EU do? Give recommendations. Recommendations for what? We have to accept what has been going on for so long, and it's like, I don't understand. Anyways, put what you think in the comment section below, and don't forget to like and subscribe.